Hi, you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K, broadcasted from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida. I'm flipping the pages of a book called The Genius Within by David Adam. The author says something extraordinary happened to my brain, and that's why I am writing this book. The change opened my eyes to what is possible, and I did it all by finding and activating a part of my brain that had laid dormant for too long. Intelligence is like art. We struggle to define it, but we recognize it when we see it, and we argue about it endlessly. Attitudes to intelligence drive people along myriad fault lines: scientific, cultural, political, and especially educational. Difference in intelligence between people, real and perceived, have long been a gateway to all sorts of unpleasantness. But these differences in intelligence also open a door to cognitive enhancement. One of these differences is the seventh skill. Sevenths are usually people who have low intelligence by most standard measures but show brilliance in a single cognitive zone. They are people who typically cannot dress themselves or hold a conversation but have staggering mathematical skills or can remember every word of every book they read that week. How sevens do it is a mystery, but one popular suggestion is they have access to some functions of the brain that remain off limits to the rest of us. There are evidence that not all sevens are born that way. Some are made. Diseases like dementia can seemingly release a known artistic skill, and blow to the head can produce a near photographic memory. Some of these changes to the brain and the subsequent rewriting can reasonably be said to improve these people's intelligence. But before we continue with the topic, let's see who are our guests tonight.
Whoa, whoa, yeah!
Bass player, producer, composer, bassist for Cirque du Soleil, Las Vegas. Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K, Joseph Patrick Moore.
Hi Dimitri, it's a pleasure to be here.
We're listening to Nevada Sun. Wow, that was an explosion of solo bass playing. And though the bass is not a typical solo instrument, while listening to your virtuoso renditions, one could be surprised to find how much more there is to be discovered from this instrument, isn't it?
I appreciate you saying that. You know, the bass is the heartbeat of the music. Doesn't matter the style or the genre. The bass is fundamental in laying the foundation, not only harmonically, but rhythmically. But to take the bass and try to make it a lead instrument, so to speak, almost like a horn player or guitar player, can really open up a lot of, possibilities.
And obviously you, Patrick, find a way to explore all those possibilities. From Joseph Patrick Moore's album Nevada Sun, let's listen to one more song, Spiritual, and then from the album To Africa with Love, Adventures of Tiger and Alice.
a beautiful day.
You worked, toured and recorded with different artists such as Stuart Copeland from The Police, Lisa Kelly, Earl Klugh, Bob James, Michael Tolcher, to name a few. Who else would be a creative challenge for you to record or play with?
Oh, thanks, Dimitri. I appreciate you mentioning that. The list is just way too long. I mean, there's so many artists that I would love to work with. And like all of us, we have dreams. And, one day maybe some of those will happen. Actually, some of the people you just named were dreams of mine at one point, and I had the opportunity to work with them. And some of those were the highlights of my life. There's just so many, man. The list is so gigantic that I would take up your whole radio show to mention them all. But I just like all kinds of music, and there's so many artists in various genres and styles that I would love the opportunity to work with. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that is the beauty of the creative life. Anytime we get in studio with a new artist, we explore unexplored opportunities. We're listening to 3 Degrees of Separation, and from the album The Story of Jastronica, Groove Messenger. starting in January 2022, you will be the bassist on the Cirque du Soleil residency show Mystère, Las Vegas. What else is on your challenge list for 2022?
Yeah, so started January 1st. I am the bass player on a Cirque du Soleil residency show here in Las Vegas called Mystère, and it's at the Treasure Island Casino. And I believe it's the longest running Cirque du Soleil show. I believe it's in its 28th year now. And the cast and crew and the musicians are just all amazing. I'm having a great time. And outside of that, I have my studio and I'm constantly practicing and working, trying to be creative, writing. And so that's my goal for 2022 is to just try to be creative, put out some music, some videos. I'd like to do some more live streaming events. So that's pretty much it, man. That's my life. And I'm just trying to just see how much I can get done this year. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, Joseph, getting off a good start. Listening to Herbie. And now, from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish Joseph Patrick Moore success in any creative avenue his career path goes.
I would just say in closing, if anyone wants to learn more about me, you can visit my website, josephpatrickmoore.com, and of course all the usual suspects like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., Spotify, Apple Music. So anyway, I appreciate you so much having me, and I love what you're doing, man, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time also, Joseph, and now we all know where to find Joseph Patrick Moore. Cirque du Soleil, Mystère, Las Vegas. Life is better than listening to a commercial radio station playing endlessly a few resembling songs. If you feel that way, you came at the right place. Light Lounge with Dimitri K plays the best award winners and independent artists around the world. And before we continue, let's go back for a minute on the topic at the beginning of the show, improving people's intelligence. Obviously, facts of life show that this is impossible. It's important not to get carried away despite the way these cases are presented. The changes do not always produce genius. Not everybody can be upgraded to an Einstein or a Mozart. Talent remains rationed, but these mental upgrades do suggest that everybody's brain might be able to work better. The question is whether the brain change can be introduced in a safe, reliable and controlled way. In the search for cognitive enhancement, few of us would be willing to bang our heads on the pavement and hope for the best.
Hi, I'm Pete Calandra, and you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Please enjoy the first track from my latest project, Pete Calandra and Straight Up. The title of this tune is called Neptune Beach. This tune is an upbeat, piano-driven track with its roots firmly in 70s funk and soul jazz. In addition to my piano playing on this track, you'll also hear some fantastic flute by New York City-based musician David Weiss. He can often be heard playing flute in the pit of Broadway's Lion King, and on this track, you'll hear him adding some beautiful Herbie Mann-like flute lines which really energize the piece. Once again, thanks for listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. I've been Pete Calandra, and now Neptune Beach.
that was Pete Calandra with Neptune Beach. Now let's listen to some new music from Kevin Lucas. Drive, Noir, and Seen It All Before.
Who's gonna tell you when it's too late? Who's gonna tell you things aren't so great? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Well, no. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna pick you up when you fall? Who's gonna hang it up when you call? Who's gonna pay attention to your dreams? Who's gonna plug the ears when you scream? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Oh no. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna hold you down when you shake? Who's gonna come around when you break? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Oh no. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Oh, you know you can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Oh no. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? We watched our time go by. You've had your time to ask me why. Days linger on, never pull themselves away. Knowing that in the end I have to learn to go astray. my mind, can't let it go. You've had your time to let it show. Love lingers on, never pulls itself away. Give me that answer every single day.
Watch the rise of the ocean. The sun and the moon take chase, but they're no longer the problem. The new one has a face. We know that they'll never open as long as the goal is made. We take our rights how we want them. Someone takes a knee. 'Cause lies that lead to war, trolling us to take we find another solution, but it doesn't pay for free. And without any commotion, it's gone before we see. Everyone should have clean water, but life-giving energy. But somewhere something is broken, 'cause there's no demand, no demand. 'Cause trolling us to I'm watching de-evolution. The faster, the more you see. The TV only divides us, but they don't do that for free. The fire's burning are restless, the heat and the rising sea. Pretty soon we'll be melting, but it's all okay. It's not okay.
and that was vibraphonist Kevin Lucas. Next is the music duo of David McLorren and Audley Reid. We're listening to Alright. For the end of the show, we're listening to Infert, one tune from my album 7/8. On the sax, Derek Bell. On the piano, Rob Mullins. On the guitar, John Valerie. You're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. It's time to say goodbye, and remember, hesitation is temporary, music lasts forever. Most of the artists you heard on this show are independent artists. And if you like some of them, you can Google the name and find them on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and the rest of the digital media, and that would be a great support for them. For any comments, suggestions and feedback, please email me at kopublishing@gmail.com. I'm Dimitri K, broadcasting from the City Beautiful, Orlando, Florida.
Hey John, is that the blue cat you're talking about?